Happy Pride Month! Queens Public Library continues its ongoing commitment to promote queer liberation and representation across our borough and beyond. Whether you're looking for books and resources, engaging in inclusive programs, or just seeking a welcoming space, we are here for you. Come on by and let us know what's your query. For more information, visit queenslib.org/Pride 2023. Summer reading kicks off this month. Visit summerreading.queenslibrary.org for our full summer reading program schedule, book lists for all ages, and other resources to keep your kids engaged and learning all summer long. Juneteenth celebrates the end of slavery in the United States. Check out our reading lists and join us for a wide range of programs to learn more about this important day in U.S. history. Visit our website for more information.
Welcome to Wellness Wednesdays. I'm Christopher Galarza, Queens Public Library's Community Health Coordinator. Today we are joined by Toya Cook from the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. Toya is a public health educator with 25 years of experience working with communities in New York, aiding those in need. Her work ranges from helping those from underserved communities who need assistance with HIV care and prevention to those who need help with creating and maintaining a healthy home. Toya prides herself in partnering with different organizations, such as the Queens Public Library, to make sure people have the tools and skills to maintain a healthy home for themselves and their loved ones. As Toya provides her program, please drop any questions, comments, or reactions in the chat. And we're so happy to have Toya here today, so please join me in welcoming Toya Cook.
Hello, everybody. I hope everybody had a wonderful start to the week and had a joyous Father's Day. To all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. I hope it was as wonderful as you are a dad. Chris, I'm just going to jump right into this unless you want something else to say. But if not, we're going to start my presentation. And my presentation is on healthy homes. Keep your home health and safe. This presentation is brought to you by the Bureau of Environmental Disease and Injury Prevention from New York City's Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. As Christopher stated, my name is Toya Cook, and I am a public health educator. So also, if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat or you can hold them to the end of the presentation. It's up to you. So we'll begin. So, healthy homes. Why should we be concerned about home environmental hazards? The reason is that people are spending way more time in their homes than ever before. If your home is poorly maintained, it can be hazardous to you and your family. Home health hazards can lead to illnesses such as lead poisoning, asthma, allergies, or other injuries related to falls, fires, and poisonings. Um, Maintaining a healthy home helps you maintain your healthy life. If your home is poorly maintained, it can be hazardous to you, to your young children, or even to your pets. So, Now, as we can see in this picture, there is a health concern and there's a home concern. And that concern is a leak. Even the fish is concerned about the leak that is coming from the ceiling. So, and our slide tells you that a single housing problem can lead to multiple hazards and health effects. So, um, we can see from this picture that a simple water leak can lead to other hazards, such as mold growth, pest, peeling paint, which is a lead hazard, and those things can have effects on our health. So, mold can cause allergic reaction. It can also trigger asthma. Pests can trigger asthma as well. And lead paint hazards lead to learning and behavioral problems in children and health issues in adults. So we have to be mindful that something as easy as a water leak can contribute to other hazards that can have health effects upon us. So if we see that there is a leak, or if we believe that there is a leak, the best thing to do is to report that leak to our landlord first and give them the opportunity to correct it. Or if they don't address it, then you give 311 a call. Forgive me, my slide seems to be not moving. I'm going to stop sharing and then reshare because my slides have just stopped moving. Give me a second, please. Please forgive me for that. I'm not exactly sure why it stopped moving, but we're going to try it again. Okay, so this slide tells us that there are 5 ways to keep your home healthy and safe, right? So, step one tells you to take steps to prevent lead exposure. So, in that case, if you see peeling paint, you should report it to your landlord, your property manager, or the homeowner first. If you are the homeowner, then you should give 311 a call, and so that you can learn the steps that you need to take. Two, to control mold by reducing moisture. There are ways to do that. Reducing moisture is as simple as opening the window. Clean your home safely. So the type of products that you use to clean can have adverse effects on you. To control pests safely, you want to get rid of mice and roaches, and also to install safety devices. Okay. Okay. So one, we're going to take steps to prevent lead exposure. What you should know: lead poisoning is preventable. You may not always feel or look sick when lead poisoned. There's only one way to find out if you are lead poisoned, and that is through a blood test. It is called a BLL. And as soon as you alert your doctor to the fact that there's lead in your home, they will more than likely offer it to you. If not, please ask for it. So, lead is a poison that can cause health effects in children and young adults. Lead is also found in old paint and dust that the paint turns into. So if you have a leak and the leak dries and it caused the paint to bubble, that paint will dry. And then once it dries, it can become um, easily broken down. And that dust, if there's lead in that paint or on that wall, that's what the results can be. Lead in old paint is mostly identifiable source of lead exposures in New York City. So prior to 1960, it was legal to use lead in paint, and that is how the majority of it got on the walls. Unsafe repair work can also create lead hazards. So when they are trying to repair a wall, due to mold, due to demolition, due to renovation. If there was already lead on the wall in old paint, once they disturb it, this can be a problem for us. Lead can also be found in some consumer products like soil and old plumbing. Um, some jobs and hobbies can also expose you to lead. So, lead is a poison that can have health effects in children and adults, and we must be mindful of our contact with lead. Lead is found in nature. It is something that has been around for thousands of years. So just be mindful that if there is paint that is peeling from your walls, that it is in your best interest not to flick it off, not to brush it off, but to give 311 a call and report that there is lead poisoning there's lead on your walls. Okay, so things that we can do, right? We can keep it clean, we can keep it out, and we can speak up. So, in keeping it clean, we should wash our floors and our window sills and our children's hands and toys often, because children have their own world that we only are allowed to support. We can't really interact but so much because they have their own mind, and they may not be able to articulate everything the way we can receive it and understand it and know what they're saying. So it is our job as parents, as adults, to make sure that we protect them. And one of the ways in protecting our children is by washing their hands and toys as often as possible. I usually tell parents that if they allow their children to go bare feet, then they should wash their feet as well because they will put those toes in their mouths. Um, the next bullet tells us that to remove our shoes from entering our home, and that is a good habit to have because we walk anywhere, everywhere, the train station, the buses, the streets. So we are picking up all sorts of germs and other contaminants. And if we're bringing our shoes home and we're walking through the home, we are just distributing those same things around. So be mindful to take your shoes off when you get to the door. If you have a job or a hobby that involves working around lead, then you should take the steps to work safe. And there are specific things to do for working safe. One being that when you get home from work, make sure that you separate your things from the household things. Don't put your clothes into the dirty clothes. Put them in a separate bag. You don't know what particles you brought home on your clothes, and this is a way to stop the contamination and keeping it out, right? We can avoid using products known to contain lead. So, for more information about that, you could take a picture of the screen right now if you'd like to have this with you. It is the www.nyc.gov/hazardous products. And on that website, they tell you what products contain lead and what you should do if you have these products. Again, the next thing is to use only cold tap water for drinking, cooking, and making baby formula. Forgive me. So, run the water for about 30 seconds before using it until it gets noticeably colder before pouring it into your glass or using it to make baby formula or cooking. So what I do at home is I use my forearm on the spout of the water, and as it runs, I can feel it when it's getting noticeably colder. And then I can fill my pot and proceed on. If you need a drinking water lead test kit, give 311 a call. So that kit is there so that you can test the water in your home to ensure that there's no lead in the water. You want to keep children away from peeling or damaged paint and home repairs that disturb lead. paint. So again, with the children in the home, be mindful that you are washing their hands throughout the day, and do not let them play with the peeling paint that is on the walls. If you see it, just move the child and give 311 a call, but do your best not to let them play in that area. Also, you can speak up about it. You can remind your doctor to test your child for lead poisons at ages 1 and 2. If you think your family members are at risk for lead poisoning, you can ask your doctor for that blood lead test. That's the test I spoke about initially, which is called the BLL. It's really simple to do. You just let them know that your apartment tested positive for lead and that you need to get a BLL test. You can also let your landlord know about the peeling or the damaged paint. And our last bullet point here tells you that you could give 311 a call if you see unsafe work. So, what is unsafe work in a nutshell? Is, when they're doing work inside the building, they need to put up plastic, heavy duty plastic, and they need to tape it with waterproof tape so that the dust is not flying all over the building. For more information on how you can prevent lead poisoning, you should visit www.nyc.gov/lead. I know that was a mouthful, but if you have any questions about the hazardous products and that website, we can go back at the end and we can discuss. But if you just think about hazardous products and you type that in, more than likely nyc.gov will come up, and then you will be able to see what they have listed there. Okay, so number 2, we want to control mold by reducing the moisture in the home. One of the easiest ways to do that is by opening the window and just changing the air. So, the key to mold control is reducing moisture. Some people may ask, what is mold made of, right? So, mold is a fungi. It's an organism that includes microorganisms such as yeast and mold. And uh, this fungi, it grows indoors and outdoors. It doesn't really matter. Mold is something that is just in the air. Some people are allergic to it and sensitive to it, and that's who they are. Other people may not even notice mold is around, but there's one definitely distinct way to know that mold is around. You can smell it. It usually has a stale earthy odor, right? And once you learn what that mold smells like, you can never really forget that smell. So that's your first line of defense with understanding if there's mold in your space. The next way to identify mold is to look at it to see what color it is. Mold can be black, it can be green, it can be blue, it can be yellow, and it also feels differently, right? So sometimes it can feel furry or it can feel slimy. And these are ways that we can identify mold, right? So mold usually grows in damp places where there's moisture and high humidity, like our bathrooms and our kitchens. So one of our defenses is going to be that once we step out of the shower, we're going to open the door. If there's a window, we're going to crack that window. The same is true for the kitchen. Crack the window. If you're lucky enough to have a terrace door, crack the terrace door. Open it up so that you can change the flow of air that is inside. So, mold, another thing about mold, that it is everywhere. It is in every part of the environment. And it can be found, as I said, indoors as well as outdoors. So, in some instances, mold is something that we don't want to see, but in other times it may be something that we need to see. So mold can help break down natural materials like leaves and wood and other plant debris. Without mold, our environment would be overwhelmed with large amounts of dead plant matter. So, in that sense, mold is good for us. However, it can be unwanted, and when it comes to food spoilage and damage to property, nobody is interested in how good mold is at breaking down natural materials. So be mindful that it is everywhere, and um, we've all come in contact with it, but let's reduce the amount of contact that we come into with mold so that we can stay safe and healthy. Right? So, again, we want to control mold by reducing moisture. And things that we can do to control that is always correct the source of water accumulation. So, if there's water accumulating in the home, figure out why it is and remove that obstruction. Improve the ventilation in the bathroom and the kitchen. In some places, we can't improve it by doing anything other than opening the window or the doors. Where I live at, that's all that I can do is open the bathroom door. I have no window in my bathroom, so I have to open the bathroom door. And I try to open it as soon as I step out of the shower to allow the steam to dissipate. And we want to clean small moldy areas with soap and water and let them dry. So, when we're cleaning mold, we want to make sure that whatever we use to clean that mold with, that we discard that after it is finished. If it's a large area of mold, more than 10 square feet, that is something that we should report to our landlord. We cannot fix that on our own. If your landlord does not fix the mold problem, please give 311 a call. And for more information on mold prevention and cleanup, you're going to visit nyc.gov/health/healthy homes. 3, clean your home safely. And what you should know about cleaning your home safely is that a clean home environment can play an important role in your health. So one of the things that we can do is, let me turn this up. We can reduce the risk of being exposed to home health hazards such as mold, dust, mice, or roaches that can cause allergies and asthma symptoms, among other negative health effects. And we can prevent the spread of germs in our home when we clean safely. So, what does cleaning safely entail? Things that we can do in order to ensure that we're cleaning safely is we can start by reading the label before buying the cleaning product. I'm going to say that again. We can start by reading the label before buying the cleaning product. Most of the time, when we go into the supermarket, we're either in a rush or we're there because we want to purchase things, and we're going to take our time. But do we always take our time to read the label on the package? The odds are very low that we do. And even if we do, sometimes it's just the front of the package that we're reading. We never turn it around, or we rarely turn it around to read the back of it. Right? So we need to choose safer cleaning products. So if the label on that particular product that you like, or you think you like, because of the way the packages is designed, the branding that they chose, even the colors that they chose, or even the commercial, we still need to see if the label says poison or danger. If the label says poison or danger, then we need to avoid those possible at those products as much as possible. We need to protect ourselves when we're cleaning and disinfecting. So not only does reading and following the instructions help, but sometimes we need to open the window. We need to turn on the fan to ventilate the area, especially in the bathroom, because that's such a small room. So we need to ensure that the airflow is there so that our quality of air is in good standings. Just recently, everyone in New York City and most of us on the Eastern Seaboard learned about how air quality can affect us. In Canada, they had wildfires, but we were affected right here. So much so that the sky turned orange, and Some of us could barely breathe in that. So that is our air quality. So we have to remember that the same is true in our home. If we're using a product that may irritate our skin, then we know we need to wear waterproof gloves. But we will only know that if we read the label, right? If you use bleach to disinfect, the key thing to remember is to never mix it with any other cleaning products, especially ammonia. The gas from those two combined can really do damage to individuals. Okay, so let's be mindful never to mix bleach with ammonia. If you really want to see what can happen when you do that, get on YouTube and YouTube it so that you can see. Don't put yourself through that. But it's really, really dangerous to mix bleach with anything other than water. Okay, so remember that. Never mix bleach with anything other than water. And please read the label so that you know how much water you need to use. And the last thing about this slide is to keep all cleaning products away from children and pests. As a mom, I watched my mom put away our cleaning products and they always went down below. But after coming to work here, I've learned that maybe cleaning products should not go down below, that they should be put up high, out of the way of children and our pets for their safety. 4, we want to control pests safely. So we want to make sure that we get rid of roaches and mice, and we want to do that safely. So what we need to know about that. Pests in our home can do several things. They can contaminate our food. They can damage our home. They can worsen our asthma and also cause allergic reactions. So, controlling pests safely, things that you can do, right? One of the things is you can use an integrated pest management system, which is a practical approach to controlling pests through methods that are safe for our family. So, we need to clean up, right? So, remove any piles of newspaper, paper bag, cardboards, bottles, just any debris that is around your home that is not there to serve you but needs to be discarded, just let it go. Especially around our refrigerator and stoves and under the sink. Because a lot of times that's where grease and things like that go, and food, when it pops out of the pot or you're banging the spoon, things splash around, and a lot of times we're not paying enough attention to be mindful to that. So we also want to starve and parch them as part of the integrated system. We want to make sure that we wipe down everything at the end of the night and that we keep everything dry that is out. We want to make sure that we also seal the pest out. So the caulking around our kitchen cabinets as well as the tub and in areas like that along the windowsill, we want to make sure that the caulk is there, it's smooth, and it is sealing them out. We can also use safer pest control products like the bait station, the gel baits, and the glue traps. Those are things that are safer for us to use because we can just pick that up and discard that. We can pick that up with a pair of gloves on and discard it, as opposed to us using those foggers that you have to press the button and then try to run faster than the spray coming out of the can. I don't know about you, but I cannot run that fast. And it just really it's almost a waste of our money to use those things, because the times that I've used them, I've never seen one dead roach. So but yet and still I was trying to use them and running out of the room. So now I know better, and I use safer products like our bait station and our gel baits and the glue traps, right? um Even some people have said that the mice will push the glue traps out of the way because they have adapted to them. And this is more than likely true in some cases, but the roaches can't. And these glue traps can assist you with dealing with the roaches as well. 5, we want to install our safety devices and then we want to take care of those safety devices. So, what you should know, safety hazards can cause serious injury. Home safety devices can help to keep you and your family safe, such as window guards, smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. So on the screen, we have a picture of a window with the window guards as well as a safety device. So we're going to start off with the window guards and the things that you can do and should know about window guards. So as you can see on this screen, in this picture of this window, at the very top of the outer pane, well, the inner pane, there is what you call an L bracket. It's at both ends of the window, and it is there to lock the window in and at that level so that the window guard that is in your window, if it is properly placed, will only have 4.5 inches above. And that is true for the bottom as well. By regulations, there needs to be 4.5 inches above the window guard. Between the bottom of the window pane and 4.5 inches under the window guard between the window guard and the window sill, right? Or the ledge, whichever term you use. And that is how you keep it, that is how it stays in place, and it is at regulations with the 4.5 above and below with the L brackets, which really stops anybody from putting their head under or above it and trying to squeeze past it. Please keep in mind that window guards are not there as security for burglars. They're there for the safety of our young children primarily, right? So you can have your window guards installed, and they should only be installed by a professional, the super, or someone who the landlord hires to come and put the window guards in. And New York City law requires that in multiple dwellings, right? So homes with 3 or more apartments where children 10 years or younger resides, that's a place for window guards. Every window except for the window with the fire escape. Window guards or window stops should be installed in all windows, again, except for the one with the fire escapes, because how else can you get out if there is an emergency? Okay, you can also ask your landlord for window guards if you don't have them. But if you have children under the age of 10, that should be a question that you put forth to the landlord and say that you need, as opposed to, if maybe that's something that you need to have happen, and they also need to have it happen as well. Property owners are responsible for the installation and maintenance of the window guards. So that means that you and myself, as tenants, we are not the ones who should install or maintain or even attempt to remove the window guards from the window. That is definitely needs to be someone who is professional to do that. So we're now on to installing our safety devices, our smoke and CO detectors. So the things that we can do, right? Tenants are responsible for maintaining both of these devices. Sometimes now they come in a dual device, but you're still responsible for them. So you should test your devices at least once a month. All you have to do is press the test button on it to make sure that it is still in working order. If your alarms still use removable batteries, then you should replace those batteries at least twice a year. And the key to doing that is to wait till it's time to spring ahead or fall back. So when the weather changes for daylight saving time is the most prime way to remember that you should change your batteries. You want to replace the batteries immediately if you get that warning signal that tells you that the battery is low. It's a really it's a good thing that they have there because it will continue to beep um every 2 to 3 minutes until it is either changed or you take it out. And you should never take it out. So at that point, just know that if you hear that beep, just go and change the batteries and solve the problem. And it's there for your health and your family's well being. So remember to just change the battery. It's a simple thing. You just pull the front piece off, you pull out the battery, you put the battery, you close it back. It's so simple, right? Residential owners are required to ensure that tenants are provided with both carbon monoxide and smoke detectors, okay? So again, before I leave this slide, I just want to say that both property owners and tenants have the responsibility to ensure that New Yorkers remain safe in their home from dangers of fire and carbon monoxide poisoning. Because the carbon monoxide is odorless and colorless, it is something that we cannot detect with our eyes or our nose, and it is a highly toxic gas. So it is in our best interest to ensure that our detectors are up and they are working just fine. When it comes to the smoke detector in your home, it should be within 15 feet of the sleeping area. And that was effective as of April 2014. And again, if you hear the chirping sound, it is a warning that your batteries are low and that you need to change the battery. So please, for your safety as well as others, when you hear that chirping sound, change the batteries, okay? Other safety tips and things you can do. You can keep a working fire extinguisher in your home. You can also, when it comes to the fire extinguisher, you can go to the FDNY website for proper use of a fire extinguisher. Um, Most importantly, homeowners and tenants need to learn how to use and the type of fire extinguisher that is needed to extinguish a fire. There are different types of fire and there are different types of fire extinguisher. Please speak with the FDNY, either get on their website or stop by the firehouse in your neighborhood. The firemen are always eager, at least it's been my experience, that they are always eager to inform us, especially our children. So make it your business to take your child, your grandchild, your niece, your nephew, and just go by the firehouse and, ask them to update you to let you know what you need to know as a tenant and as a responsible New Yorker. You want to keep medication and cleaning products and other chemicals out of our children's reach. So, again, high up in the cabinet is probably best, as well as either in a drawer or in the cabinet, but put a safety latch on there as an added layer of protection for your family. Medication, just like some cleaning products, can look like other things. The Poison Control Center shows you, when you go to them, they can show you how certain medications can look like candy. Certain chemical liquids can look like everyday water, juice, milk, and so on. So be mindful of that. And you can even reach out to the Poison Control by calling 212 Poisons and just asking them what it is you need to know about hazardous products that we have in our home, because we all have these kinds of things in our home. So this screen is closer to the end of my presentation. And I'm going to let it sit here for a few minutes because it's a lot of information on here. These are our key resources on how to get information from Healthy Homes. The website for my office is here, nyc.gov/health/healthy homes. report to your building maintenance any problems you have, especially when it pertains to leaks and lead. And if not fixed in a timely manner, then you can give 311 a call. However, if you live in NYCHA and you have maintenance issues, you need to contact the Customer Contact Center at 718-707-7771. They will fill out the ticket for you and you will just need to follow up. National Pesticide Information Center is here as well, 800-858-7378. You can also visit the EPA website at epa.gov/safer choice. Environmental Work Group, ewg.org/guide/cleansers. FDNY Education, same thing we talked about a few moments ago. You can look them up online, nyc.gov/FDNY. That's another resource for the New York City Fire Department. But again, it might be best, and it might also be fun to just um, walk over to the fire department in your neighborhood and get as much information as you can. And while you're there, you can say thank you for the times that they kept you safe. I'm sure they will appreciate it. You can also reach out to New York City's Poison Center, and that phone number is 212 Poisons for inside of New York. Or universally, you can call 800-222-1222, and someone from the Poison Control Center will respond to you from whichever state that you are in. And this is our last slide. It just tells you how to reach out to my agency to request a presentation or to find out about other presentations. You can reach us at Healthy Homes ECP at health.nyc.gov. I'm going to let this sit here for a few minutes in case anybody wants to take a picture of it so that they can have this information. You can also find our upcoming presentations if you visit us at nyc.gov health and search for community presentations. Or you can call us at 646-632-6023. So that brings me to my next and last slide, and that is to see if anyone has any questions, comments, or concerns about what I just presented on. If you do, I am here to listen and I will do my very best to explain. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toya. While we wait for everyone to, put their questions in the comments, what is like one takeaway that you really hope that people get from today?
Window guards.
Window guards.
Window guards. And, because as adults, we do stuff every day because we've been doing it every day. But
Hmm.
our children, like my grand, he's 2 going on 3, and when I do the number of days, he's been on this earth less than 700 days, but he's got a lot to say, and he does a lot. So, window guards are a big thing for me because children try everything at least one time, and their slogan is "Children can't fly." And the first time I heard that, I was like, that's it right there. They can't. And we have to be mindful of that. And sometimes as single parents, we get busy
Hmm.
and we may need to go into another room and
Hmm.
we will forget that the window is open because we are trying to do everything. And a very bad thing can happen. So for me, window guards are number one, and keeping our home safe, because if you let something like that happen and something happens to your child, you may never forgive yourself. That one thing could just destroy an entire family and for generations sometimes. So
Hmm.
for me, it's window guards.
Yeah, and that we still need window guards even if there's a screen on the window because screens don't hold children from falling
Either.
out. Yeah.
No, no.
And one other thing I think was really important that you were saying was um, keeping the cleaning products above instead of below because in my family also they always went under the sink and I'd never thought about, yeah, it's easy for a child or a pet to get into there because it's accessible that way.
Absolutely. And then here's the next thing about it, right? When we put stuff underneath, that means that every time we want it, we got to bend down and get it. I don't know about you. As I get older, I don't want to keep bending down because every time I get up, I'm like, ah. So if I could just reach up and grab something, it is just so much, much, much better. Yeah. So yeah, putting the products up high is very prevalent. But also is the same thing is true about reading the back of labels.
Hmm. Hmm.
We don't read the back of labels. Like on the back of the bleach bottle, there's so much information back there. You would be surprised at how much information it tells you about caution. It tells you what happens if you need to call somebody. It teaches you about the first aid with bleach. So I never knew that until I started this job. I never read it. I just picked up the Clorox and went on about my business because Clorox is what we always
Hmm.
use. So, it is in our best interest to just take a few more seconds to make sure that we're doing what we need to do for our family. And as parents, we want to do well for
Hmm.
our families. We want to provide the very best. So sometimes we just need to slow down just a little bit more, take a couple extra steps, and then go on about our way. Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing that I have come to appreciate as an adult is rubber gloves for cleaning because never, I didn't get skin rashes or anything, but like thinking about it, I was like, oh wait, all those chemicals are going into my hands even if I'm not showing anything. So rubber gloves, hard to find them for my hands, but rubber gloves are a big and important thing to keep us safe too.
Well, I'm not going to promote Amazon, but you can kind of find just about anything you need at Amazon, and they have the different sizes. And yeah, I prefer the yellow ones or the purple ones that come all the way
All the way up.
down. Yeah, so that I'm protecting a lot more of my skin. Since starting this job a year and a half ago, a lot of what I do at home when it comes to hazards have really, really
Yeah.
changed. Really changed. I've really used what I've learned here to make my home that much safer.
Awesome. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Toya. I'm not seeing anything in the comments. I hope everyone enjoyed our program today, and I hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Yes, have a great, great weekend. Enjoy
Mhm.
yourselves and have a healthy, happy,
Yes.
safe summer.
Um,
Thank you
you
so
too.
much, Chris.
Thank you.
See you again.